Hey, if you are a high achieving woman who tends to have what we call an all or nothing mentality, and you've been struggling with digestive issues, food being really stressful to you, and just feeling exhausted all the time because of all the information overload out there, especially on social media, I want to show you how you can heal your gut once and for all without the constant elimination diets. And I walk the walk. So this was me on the left around 9 years ago when I was in the depths of struggling with severe hair loss from undiagnosed Hashimoto's, chronic gut infections like SIBO, and the food sensitivities that just kept piling it up, making it so stressful to know how to even eat while traveling or dining out because I was basically told that everything was off limits and everything made me feel terrible. And that's why I decided to become a gut health focused nutritionist. I'm also a published cookbook and gut health author because I was so determined, especially to figure out the food piece to all of this because I love food. And I know the pain of feeling gaslit by doctors and then the pain of obsessing over diets and the never ending supplements or magic pills with very little relief and no sustainable plan forward. Cut ahead to the right side. This is me now. My hair is completely regrown in. I look in the mirror, I see myself again. The bloating and food sensitivities and all the digestive pain that I was going through is gone, handled. I know exactly what to do with confidence. And then another huge piece is fertility was a big struggle and concern for me. And now I sit here with you as a mom of two young babies. And I gotta say, even with that, my energy is still on lock because I know what to do with nutrition and lifestyle. And learning what to do and having it be sustainable, having it feel second nature has just given me immense peace. And I took all of that knowledge and I bottled it up and knew that it was my mission to help other women struggling with similar issues. So just know that this did not only work for me. It has worked for the hundreds of women I've helped in practice. And here's a bit of what some of my amazing clients had to say about their experience.
Bloatiness, the gassiness, not being able to go to the bathroom, check, check, check. Those have all been addressed in a huge way.
My life is completely different. My skin is completely different. My stomach, my mind.
I'm sleeping better. My digestion is just like, it hasn't been this good in probably a decade.
I wasn't always able to do what I wanted to do before because of the IBS and the stress. Now I don't have to worry about that, which is truly amazing.
I honestly feel like my body has more reserves. Like I have more resilience. I have more energy. I have more vitality. Alison discovered so many other problems that were rooted in this sort of gut-brain imbalance.
I am so grateful for my time and my work with Alison.
My whole outlook on everything has completely been altered just by this one experience, and I cannot recommend her enough.
All I can say is she's been my angel. She returned my life back to me.
If you're watching this, don't be scared. Go for it.
Please go. Do it for yourself.
It's not a diet program. It's a lifestyle change. This is how I'm going to be living the rest of my life.
All right, so obviously this stuff works. So who is this video for? It is for my perfectionist, high achieving ladies who might be used to killing it in their career and in their life, but your health is now holding you back and you have digestive issues. Maybe you've been diagnosed or you suspect an autoimmune condition. Food is feeling really stressful to you and you're seeing that 9-month pregnancy bloat in the mirror and you are proactive. So you've tried a lot of things to help, but nothing is really cutting it. But you're not giving up. You are still in it to win it and you are determined to find a way forward. And a quick little disclaimer, this is also for you if you are open to eating animal protein like meat, fish, or eggs as a part of your nutrition plan. So here's the thing I need you to know. It's not your fault that you're still suffering from digestive issues and inflammation, even though you've tried so much, because there is a lot of misinformation out here on social media and even with your doctors, honestly. And so if you've been told that things like elimination diets like AIP or low FODMAP or other magic pill solutions are the way to go, the truth is that these methods don't work because elimination diets alone do not heal your gut and they can end up really stressing you out while also backfiring your gut healing. So let's dig into this. The first example that I want to give is AIP. It's commonly recommended for chronic gut issues and especially autoimmune conditions. It stands for the autoimmune protocol or autoimmune paleo. Many women come to us after attempting it on their own or feeling really curious about it and then getting stuck, unable to reintroduce foods. So what's removed is perfectly healthy whole foods, things like nightshades, as you can see in this picture, eggs, even, nuts, lots of stuff upon paleo diet itself. So you can imagine if you've not tried it yourself, how restrictive that can get after a while. And so while it can be a supportive short-term tool, it requires proper support and for gut healing to actually be happening alongside while the diet is happening. And then proper reintroductions need to take place so you can get more food back and more tolerance happening. We can totally see where sometimes, for example, a person might react to, let's say, a pepper or tomatoes, and that would be helpful to hold out for a while. But does that also mean that eggs and nuts and other nightshades need to come out too? Likely not. That's often not the case. And so we aren't fans of doing something like this for too long or all on your own because it can backfire. And we need more diversity with our food so we can have more diversity in our microbiome, which is key for overall health. Next up, low FODMAP diet. This has got to be one of my least favorite diets of all time. It even brought me to tears once because even dining out at a paleo restaurant, I had no options. I've like traveling or trying to just find like a whole food, like an avocado to eat was nearly impossible. And so this is actually a really outdated way to quote unquote treat something like SIBO, AKA small intestinal bacterial overgrowth or other infections, because it's really not treating anything. No elimination diet does alone, right? It is actually just providing some symptom relief without proper gut terrain healing. And that's really what's needed. So without that, it just becomes another Band-Aid that feels very challenging to both get on, navigate, and then try to come off of. Then I want to talk about Whole30. It means well, just like the other ones do, and it's just a tool. And I have always loved the premise of simply helping the masses return to the whole foods and cut out processed foods that are more inflammatory. But the rigid, rules of I got to start back on day one if I quote unquote mess up thing, I don't like that. And the lack of, any kind of healthy dessert or snacking allowed is a bit problematic long term. So people feel like they end up being on again, off again, even if they initially see some good results. It just becomes another fad diet or another, bandwagon type of situation, which is really not healthy. Then there is the big supplement push. While we love functional medicine, we are more about foundational health above functional health because this industry is actually turning more and more into, okay, instead of the pharmaceutical push that we see from traditional Western medicine, it's now more of a nutraceutical push, hooking patients on anywhere from 500 and up per month in supplements that truly half of which aren't even being digested and absorbed, which we've seen many of our clients struggle with. Some clinical grade targeted supplements can absolutely make an enormous difference, and we are a fan of that, but we're not a fan of throwing supplements at the wall like gluten-free spaghetti. And lastly, a never-ending pricey lab list, right? So whether it be food sensitivity tests, which we are not a fan of, whether it be endless blood and stool and whatever testing with no clear plan and just another overwhelming amount of data with nothing to take action on that's truly supportive, like just more and more supplements or medication that might kill an infection or restore some short-term balance. But then what's overlooked in these protocols is that long game of healing to really look at and address the imbalances or what at the foundational level allowed those infections and imbalances to be present to begin with. So what happens is you're playing a lot of defense, but there's no offense being played. So you'll end up right back on a protocol with more labs soon enough. I went through this where I had SIBO 3 times in a year, which is a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and it was miserable. I don't recommend it if you've not been through it. And I just ended up back on antibiotics constantly because the long game wasn't in place. Nothing was being looked at to address the gut terrain and restore more balance to my microbiome so that these things didn't keep happening with my specific habits and eating and stress and all the other things that affect the microbiome. And so once I started looking at that, things changed. So again, this is another tool. We don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but just like supplements and diets, they're only going to be helpful when used appropriately, and they can be helpful and reveal important data, which we love, but it's got a specific place, and it's not what's going to carry you in the day to day. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I got really fed up with all of these Band-Aids essentially, and that's why I created my InTune method, which consists of 3 main pillars. So number 1 is balanced nutrition and food diversity, because that is key for sustainable gut health, okay? Second is a more targeted gut healing supplement protocol, which I'm going to show you a little bit more about versus throwing a ton of nutraceuticals at the wall. And number 3, once we've got 1 and 2 on lock, we can now zoom out to address a real overarching umbrella, which is your nervous system health. And that's going to affect everything, especially that gut-brain connection and your lifestyle blueprint. So this is where I'll see people get stuck in the supplement and diet overcorrecting forever, and they never are able to truly zoom out and go deeper into these other modalities that we love to prioritize, okay? And this method has been responsible for helping over 300 women to date overcome and heal chronic digestive issues, even helping some women go into remission from autoimmune disease like Hashimoto's and psoriasis, which I also did myself, all while giving them more peace and confidence with food and their bodies, because that is the power of gut healing. It is the epicenter to our health. If you're struggling with immune or autoimmune issues, this is where you're going to get most bang for your buck. And that's something I personally learned and how I was able to go into remission for Hashimoto's so many years ago. So number one, balanced nutrition and food diversity. We first want to, instead of throwing everything out and eliminating every single food group, we would rather identify key food sensitivities to you while repairing gut lining. You can do this with a simple food journal. You can do this by, if you're coming off an elimination diet carefully, you're going to start reintroducing little by little to actually see what is causing an issue. Okay. And so we want to make sure that happens because we need more diversity. And when we have food sensitivities, if you're trying to reintroduce and things aren't coming back, it's a symptom or a sign of deeper issues such as leaky gut or intestinal permeability, low or weak stomach acid, and more. So first bit of advice, actually track. Be specific to actually what's bothering you, because doing the huge white swipe attempts over and over and over again is honestly backfiring. Then we want to rebuild a diverse diet with safe and satisfying food reintroduction. So this can be eating a little more seasonally. This can be preparing foods in a slightly different way, but we do want to rotate and rebuild with diverse foods, because what happens when we're on these restrictive elimination diets, especially for too long, is that diversity in the microbiome is not happening. And what can actually go wrong here is that the microbiome, the bugs in your gut, are actually so hungry that they start eating the gut lining, furthering that vicious cycle of intestinal permeability, which is a common cause of food sensitivities. So you can see how this is just this nasty cycle that needs to be broken somehow, some way. And these are two really important ways to do it. And as we are focusing on that more daily sustainable way of eating, let's make sure we're eating in a way that balances our blood sugar, right? So that's going to be a best practice for that is at least 30 grams of protein per meal with balanced carbs and fat to support that blood sugar balance, also supporting lasting energy and a healthy metabolism. And then we want to find balance and tasty foods that everyone can eat from. Why should you feel like the odd person out all the time? Why should you deny yourself occasionally just going out on a date or traveling to your favorite location? You should feel more confident in how to do that, because if not, this is simply not going to last if it is not supporting you in a more peaceful, less stressed out lifestyle. Because here's the key. It's not just what you eat, it's how you eat it. And if you are eating in this hypervigilant, stressed out, I feel left out state, your step one of digestion, which begins in the brain, in the nervous system, is shut off. So this is why if you've ever had a beautiful, healthy soup or salad or whatever in front of you, and you're still super bloated after, maybe gassy, burping up, reflux, feeling lethargic, and unbuttoning your pants immediately, and you don't understand why, because what you ate was healthy. It's not what you ate. It's how you ate it. So food fear and stress is not the vibe here. It is not healing you, and it is critical to overcome. Second, we're going to get into the gut healing supplement protocol deets. So something that we see, because many of our clients work with either other doctors or they've collected supplements on their own from various podcasts and research on their own, is that what's happening is we're missing out on some key strategy. We're missing out on priority. And the deal is with digestion, it is one long domino effect. It's like an assembly line. Therefore, we need to work in priority with the body, not against it and fight upstream. So we need to work what's called the north to south process of digestion. And so that's going to be looking at what specifically is going on with you, right? So you want to be really fully aware of like, what are my key symptoms and where are they happening in the digestive process? So this can be something like using HCl or betaine and pepsin to heal stomach acid when appropriate for you, because that's happening higher north than maybe supplementing with probiotics, right? This is why sometimes if we take probiotics because we think it's the good thing to do, there's good reviews on one, so we try it and then we don't feel very good, or we feel nothing. We're like, I don't know, is this doing anything? Because maybe that wasn't the right step in the process for you at the time. So instead of throwing 20 supplements at the problem, why aren't we going in more strategic order? That's what we like to do. And then with that, we like to look at supplements that are more so supporting your body at the foundational level to change the environment of your gut. And then ultimately, you won't have to be stuck on them forever, right? There should be very few that you necessarily need more long-term. And the short-term can be focused, and then that way you move off of them. And so they're really used as a tool, not as a crutch. And like I said, everything with us is going to be personalization. So don't just buy things because you hear that they're good and blah, blah, blah. We really want to know, like, okay, is this mapping to my foundational issues? And that you would want some more support with. And at the very least, you would want to make sure that you're not overdoing it. Make sure that you're actually feeling a change in your supplements. And if you're not really feeling much of anything, nothing's really improving, or maybe you're feeling worse, I want you to park it and listen to your body. Okay. So we got the first two on autopilot. That's what we like to think of is like, okay, if health, and especially our gut health being the epicenter of everything, is this pie, and we've got all these slices. Diet and supplement are just two of those pieces. What about the rest? So let's not get stuck overcorrecting here and spinning our wheels and wondering why nothing's changing, and actually move on to the rest of the stuff. So like I said, nervous system is absolutely a critical overarching umbrella to everything basically, but especially with our gut health because of that vagus nerve that runs from the stem of our brain all the way down to the colon, and it's hitting all the nerves along the way. It is critical that this is healing for vagal tone, our vagus nerve, right? If you struggle with things like constipation or diarrhea, urgency, things like that, that is going to be a critical piece piece for you, IBS, chronic gut infections, all of that, and certainly any autoimmune conditions where we get in this hypervigilant fight, flight, freeze a lot. We want to calm that down. So one of the key tools that we use for that gut-brain connection is mindful eating. Okay, we're chewing our food, we're slowing down, and we're not just hearing that and saying, yeah, I know, Alison. We are absolutely putting this into practice, and we're taking it so seriously, because it's not just what you eat, it's how you eat. And it makes a big difference, not just in the short-term healing, but in that long game terrain change. And then simply daily integration tools for stress, sleep, movement, and gentle detox. If you're a high achieving lady, we know you got stress. We know you're busy. Maybe you're a caretaker. Maybe you're killing it at work. Maybe you travel a lot. You just want to be able to keep up. And we're not here to say that you can't, but we're here to say you need to balance it out with stress management, that nervous system regulation, key self-care. And it doesn't need to take 3 hours a day. Guys, I'm a mom of 2 littles. I don't have time for that. And somehow I still manage it all. So these are the things that we need to look at, is what is going to get you the most bang for your buck to ensure stress, sleep, and movement are being supported, and that you are detoxing regularly. We live in a very toxic world. Our body does detox on its own, but it tends to be inundated. And so we do need to support it through a lot of those tools. And that's my In-Tune method. If you get each pillar right, you can expect waking up with more energy, no more chronic daily bloating and constipation and all things, clearer skin, you name it, whatever's going on in your body that has been a struggle for you, going to that epicenter of your gut is going to make a huge difference. Now, there are 2 ways to achieve this. You can, of course, keep doing what you're doing, try it on yourself. I know you are smart. I know you are scrappy, but guess what? If it's one thing I've learned over the years, it's a big waste of time, big waste of money and energy to keep going it alone, because we also do not heal in isolation. We heal together, which brings me to option 2. You could just let me help you. Having a big sister to help you will significantly cut down the time and stress, so you can actually see results faster with our coaching and personalized plan. So if you've been feeling like this is something that you've been looking for, I really want you to go click on the link in the description box below. It'll take you to my calendar so you can book a one-on-one call with me, because what we'll do is see how we can apply my In-Tune method specifically to you. Just like Debrina did. She was struggling with an autoimmune condition, hair loss, digestive issues, and crushing fatigue that was slowing her down in running her small business. She decided to let me help her, and she's feeling so much more energized, confident with food. The daily bloat and drama is gone. She's just seeing incredible results. So here's more from her. I'll take a break.
I was struggling with autoimmune issues, and I was trying to be proactive, but I was obsessing and researching, and I was overloaded with too much information. I learned so much from Alison. I made a few minor changes, and I started to think about things that I never even thought were associated with my immune disorder. And I noticed all my bloat was gone, and I started to feel better, and my moodiness was way better, and I started to enjoy food again. I was thinking, should I spend the money? And I thought, I spend so much already and nothing is working. And this is one of the best things I've ever done. She teaches you things that you don't even think about. And if you're thinking it's just another program, it's not. And she has a great cookbook with great recipes. And it's just the best program ever. So just do it. Do the work. Just show up, and you'll see results. And it's just amazing. And Alison has the most calming influence, and she has the biggest heart. So just sign up. Trust me, it works.
So the same with Brooke, who is struggling with Hashimoto symptoms, food stress and confusion, and daily digestive issues. She's seeing hair regrowth, smoother digestion, and total peace with food now like never before. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear it again straight from her.
I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, and I had several symptoms. I found Alison in hopes that she could help me go in the right direction to get my health back. I had a lot of breakthroughs. My bloating has improved, and digestion is way better. My energy back. My hair is starting to grow back in, and my eyelashes and brows are thicker. Brain fog is gone. Skin rashes are gone. My relationship with food has improved a lot. I no longer afraid of carbs and eat them, and just feel more healthy and relieved that something is working. What I loved about this the most is all the information that has been given to me is so detailed and to the point, but also given to you gradually. Alison is there to support you and has so many tools and so much advice for you to get through the program and to help you after all.
And the same with all of these incredible women here. There's more, but I can't fit them on the screen. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of these awesome, awesome clients of ours. Melissa here over on the top left, she came to us struggling. She was just in a vicious cycle of psoriasis rashes and trying to control with AIP, but was getting nowhere. And so in less than 3 months, she saw a reduction, 80% reduction in her skin rashes while reintroducing foods like chocolate, rice, green beans, and tomatoes, which was so, so key for her as an Italian American, wanting to eat with her family, wanting to get marinara sauce back in her life. And now she was able to do it with total peace and without worrying about a flare up. Another example here is Ellie, a busy career mama. She works at an Ivy League school with a 6-year-old daughter at home, and her crushing fatigue and digestive symptoms with fatigue, with brain fog and all the things was just really making life miserable for her. And after working together, she turned it all around. Her digestion has not been this good in a decade, and her energy completely returned. And then there's Lauren, who was struggling with alopecia and hormonal imbalances. So she wanted to heal her gut. And by the end of it, she was seeing new hair growth on her head and eyelashes, and finally feels like she doesn't have to be on any on again, off again bandwagon with diets anymore. She knows exactly what to do. So feel free to check out more of these amazing stories. We've got lots of different conditions and things going on that I know you will resonate with. And if you are like any of these amazing ladies and you are done living in the constant pain and stress and low energy, and you're done with the magic pills or the band-aids, and you know you just can't imagine yourself living with these symptoms for the rest of your life, I totally understand the struggle. So just go ahead and book our one-on-one call to discuss how this can work for you with a personal game plan, and we can make sure it is a perfect fit for you. And if you've already booked, I can't wait to meet with you soon. Now, I do often get some frequently asked questions, so just in case, I figured I'd address some of those right here on the video for you. Number one, I'm super busy. I know you are, so am I, we all are, and this was absolutely created with that in mind. We're together for about 3 months. We will go week by week, integrating small steps so that things can also feel really doable, but then also we can check in and see how they're actually working for you and change things on the fly if we need to. We are there for you. Then I will often get questions about, will this work for my specific condition? So I figured I'd give you a quick and dirty list of most of the common conditions we have supported our clients with. It runs the gamut because everything is stemming from foundational issues that we will address at that foundational level. And the rest are symptoms. They're like the leaves of the tree, and we are wanting to go to the root. And so these, even though they can feel like whack-a-mole, and often people have multiples of these symptoms or conditions, things start to dissipate as you go to the root of the issue. And lastly, we'll often hear, I work with a doctor. How is this different? I hear you. Most of our clients do, and we love that for you. So working with any kind of doctor, whether they be functional, naturopathic, or a Western medicine like GI or primary care, it's all good. We want to be on your team of support. And the thing that differentiates us is that doctors are diagnostic. And so that means they're looking to diagnose you, your collection of symptoms, your labs, whatever it is, and put you in this specific category of what the diagnosis is. And either there's a treatment plan for it or there's really not. And that might be a medicine, a supplement, or a lot of supplements, or a diet. But there's no support in the day-to-day. There's no instruction on really shifting your lifestyle in a sustainable, peaceful way that works. That's where we come in. And we are in it with you in the day-to-day, which is where all of this happens. And honestly, how most of this has transpired was from lifestyle misalignment, our modern day life that has really been failing our health. And that's what we need to get to little by little to make sure it's sticky and it works for you. All right. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope this gave you a new perspective on how healing your gut can be easier when it's more holistic, and to see what's truly possible for you. And again, if you want our help, I am here for you. Let's chat. I would love to support you if it's a great fit. Bye.